Welcome back to Aether and Ash, where every story begins with a spark and drifts into the unknown. If this is your first time here, welcome, and if you joined us before, thank you for returning to the fire. Your time, your attention, and your curiosity are what keeps these stories alive. Before we begin tonight's tale, I'd like to ask for a small favor. If you enjoy the stories shared here, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might enjoy sitting by the fire with us as well. It truly helps this channel grow and allows more stories to find their way into the world. I'd also love to hear from you. When the story ends, leave a comment and let me know what you enjoyed, what stood out to you, and even what you think could be improved. Your feedback helps shape the stories that come next. Now, settle in, let the world grow quiet, and let the embers glow. Tonight's story begins now. The moment Elias lit the lantern on the 99th night, the storm answered, not with thunder, but with his wife's voice calling his name from the waves, clear as the days she drowned. Elias had not slept in 30 years, not truly. The lighthouse on Blackspire Atoll allowed no rest. Its flames demanded tending every hour, or the ships that still dared the passage would founder on the Razor Reefs. He was the last keeper. The others had either fled or been claimed. Elias stayed because he had no choice, or so he told himself. The atolls formed a broken necklace across the gray sea, each island a mound of wrecked hulls, tangled rigging, and bones bleached white by salt. Fog rolled in perpetual banks, thick enough to choke lanterns. Only the keeper's lights pierced it, guiding mariners through the maze. But the storm always waited. It was not weather, it was hunger. It spoke in gales that carried names, pleas, final words. Sailors who heard their loved ones called out usually answered. They never returned. Elias's debt began the night Mara drowned. They had been crossing to the mainland when the squall hit. She was at the helm, laughing at the rain, when a rogue wave struck. Elias reached for her, his hand closed on empty air. The boat capsized. He washed up on Blackspire, half dead, clutching the lantern that had somehow stayed lit. The storm whispered then, one life for one life. Keep the light, or I take every soul that passes. He believed it. He lit the flame. He stayed. For 30 years he trimmed wicks, refilled oil from barrels that never emptied, polished glass that never cracked. Ships passed, some saved, some not. Each time the storm raged, it tested him. It sent voices, his mother's lullaby, his father's last cough, Mara's laugh. Elias ignored them. He told himself the light saved lives. That was purpose enough. But the voices grew sharper, more personal. On the 98th night, the storm spoke in Mara's exact tone. You let go. Elias froze, hand on the lantern crank. He had replayed that moment 1,000 times. His fingers had brushed hers. He could have held tighter. Instead, instinct made him grab for the rail. Survival. He hated himself for it. The next night, the 99th night, he lit the lantern as always. The wick caught. The beam cut through the fog like a blade. And then her voice came again. Not from the wind, but from the light itself. Elias, come home. He dropped the oil tin. It clattered down the spiral stairs. The flame flickered but held. He stared into the glass. Reflected there was not his face, hollowed, cheeked, salt-crusted, but hers, smiling, patient, alive. He ran, down the stairs, out the door, across the bone-strewn beach. The fog parted before him. The sea was glass smooth. No waves, no wind, only her voice, pulling him forward. He waded in. Water rose to his knees, waist, chest, cold but not killing, inviting. At neck depth he stopped. The lantern beam still reached him, a golden thread across the dark. He could keep walking, let the sea take him, end the debt, see her again. Instead he whispered, I'm sorry. The water stilled completely. Mara's voice, soft now, Not from the storm, but from memory. I know. He looked back. The lighthouse stood silhouetted against the fog, light steady. Ships would pass tonight. Lives would depend on it. He turned from the depths, walked out, dripping, shaking. The storm did not rage. It simply waited. Back in the tower, he sat on the cold floor. For the first time in decades, he let himself remember without punishment. Mara had loved the sea. She had never blamed him. She had laughed as they capsized, said, "We'll tell this one at the tavern." She'd been trying to save him too. The debt had never been the storm's demand. The storm had no ledger. It only echoed what men carried inside. Elias had sentenced himself 30 years of isolation, of refusing to forgive the hand that let go. He had kept the light burning not to save others, but to punish himself. Every saved ship was a reminder. You lived, she didn't. Dawn came. The fog thinned. The first ship of the day appeared on the horizon, a small trader, sails patched. Elias climbed the stairs. He trimmed the wick, adjusted the lens. The beam swept clean and bright. The storm grumbled once, low, then fell silent. He did not hear Mara's voice again, not that night, nor any after. But sometimes, when the light caught just right, he felt her in the warmth of the flame, not calling him to drown, just there. Elias kept tending the lantern, not out of debt, out of choice, because some lights are worth keeping, even when the one you loved is gone. And because forgiveness, especially the kind you give to yourself, is the hardest beacon to ignite. But once lit, it never goes out.